We are live. Okay, awesome. We are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to session number 2 of our Write With Me live stream writing retreat, virtual writing retreat. I'm so excited you're here. Thank you so much for being here, for showing up for yourself and your creativity. I'm out of breath because I was just running upstairs to get my headphones. Gotta have music. So that's why I sound like I'm gasping for air. Tell me if you can see me and hear me okay. First things first. Secondly, welcome and tell me where you're tuning in from and what you're working on today. I also want to know what kind of progress you've made since the beginning of this writing retreat. So, okay, you're good? I'm good? You can hear me? Awesome. Wonderful. So this is day 5 of the writing retreat. And I hope that you guys have been making some good progress towards your writing goals. I know that in the Discord community, that community has been super active. So many writers in there working towards your dreams, working on your writing projects every single day. And it's so encouraging and inspiring to see that. And I just love being there. I love being a part of that. By the way, if you want in on the Discord community and you haven't joined that already, you can get access to that by joining my Patreon community at any level. Okay, so the link to that is in the description box below this video. And if you are in the Discord community already, I will be doing some writing sprints in the Discord simultaneously as we're doing writing sprints today on the live stream. Okay, so you can join there as well and chat with fellow writers and post your word count and all that. Or you can just stay here on the live stream and chat in the chat box on the sidebar. Okay, so looks like a lot of writers are here, which is so exciting, from all over the world. UK, Washington, Indiana, Holland, California. Awesome. So many writers from all over the world, which is so cool. I've been trying to do these live streams kind of at like various times of day so that everybody has a chance to join. I know that sometimes time zones can be just so chaotic. What's good for me might not be good for somebody else on the other side of the world. So I've been trying to kind of mix it up this time. So hopefully I'll be doing some earlier ones, some later ones, maybe some writing at night. I don't know. I might do some nighttime sessions. We'll see. Okay, so welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. We're going to get started soon. If this is your first time here, the way that these Write With Me sessions are structured is we do writing sprints. We usually do 3 sprints, 25 minutes each with a short break in between to chat and talk about our stories, and I answer your questions, and then we get back into writing. And I set a timer for each session, for each sprint. So you will hear my timer go off, or you can set a timer of your own. Okay, awesome. Everyone's excited to get started. Cool. While everyone hops on, I'm also going to call out the fact that there's a fundraiser on this live stream, which I know some of you have already seen. And I'm really excited because this fundraiser I started on my video, my Science of Story video about strong female characters. And I was so excited because it has reached over $10,000 raised, which is so exciting. And I wanted to do this last week or on Wednesday for the live stream, but I forgot because I had so many technical difficulties. But all throughout this month, I want to combine this fundraiser with our live streams because it matters so much to me and so much to the world. So the fundraiser, if you haven't heard me talk about it already, is for Operation Underground Railroad, which is a group committed to ending human slavery around the world. And a lot of people I talk to don't even know this, but the human slave trade is currently the fastest growing criminal enterprise on the planet. And it enslaves over 40 million people globally, which is just amazing and insane to me that this even exists. So what OUR is doing to bring an end to this is they're working with local law enforcement in countries where human trafficking is a huge issue, a huge crisis. And they work under the radar. They work undercover. They partner with law enforcement to help rescue kids and young adults from human trafficking and bring an end to this atrocity. So I love what they're doing. I absolutely support them 100%, and I recommend you do likewise. And if you can donate anything to the fundraiser, every gift helps. So no matter how small, definitely consider donating to the fundraiser on this live stream today. So without further ado, we're going to get into our first writing session, and I have my book right here that I've been working on. If you guys are in the Discord, you've heard me talk about it a lot. This book is just, it's a mess, but it's a beautiful mess, and I'm slowly making it as time goes on. It's definitely been a work in progress. It's given new meaning to the word work in progress. But, you know, there are just so many things that I love about it that I really want to make it great. So that's what I've been doing. And I haven't gotten very far because I am doing a lot of editing, like heavy duty edits, especially at the beginning. So that's left me kind of like in a chaotic place. We'll just call it chaotic for now. Anyway, I'm making progress slowly but surely. So that's what I'm working on today. I actually am still working on a chapter that I started editing 2 days ago. So we really need to smash through the rest of this and get this done. And then I'll probably work on some more edits because I have a lot of edits already written down on my printed manuscript. So I'm going to try to finish this chapter and then start on my written edits. We'll see how it goes. Probably for this first sprint, I'll just be finishing this chapter. So hopefully you guys have your works in progress ready to go. And we're going to get started, okay? If you don't have a timer, I have a timer set up here. I'm going to start a sprint in the Discord. Let's start that. Sprint for 25 minutes in 1 minute. I'll give you all 60 seconds to get on there. I know usually I give like 5 minutes because I'm not sure if everyone's there, but it looks like everyone's here. Yay. Okay, I'm going to join. Let's see. How many words do I have to start with? 3,121. Probably this chapter will, I don't know, it might shrink because I'm chopping words as I add words. It's not satisfying at all when you do that because it's like, oh yay, I wrote so much, I finished this chapter, and it's actually less words than it was when I started. That's disappointing. Okay, enough talking, let's get into it. 25 minutes on the timer. Let's get started. Boom. There is timer number 1. Sprint number 1 is done. Let's see if this Discord one. Okay. Let's see how many word count. Let's see how many word count even is. 422. I don't even think that added any words, to be honest. Oh, actually it did. Wow. I'm surprised. 300. I felt like I deleted more than I added, but I guess not. So that's always good. So tell me in the chat how did your writing sprint go? What's your word count if you want to share that? Hopefully it went well. Looks like you guys got some words in. Awesome. 800, 780, 420, 300, 500. Awesome. Great job, guys. You're doing great. I'm so glad that you're here and showing up for yourself. That is the most important thing. So even if you didn't get to write as many words as you wanted or hoped to during that sprint, the important thing is that you show up for yourself, right? The important thing is that you're here. So awesome. Great job. We're going to take a quick break and I'm going to answer some questions in the chat. And then we're going to get into our second writing sprint. Okay. I basically finished my chapter, but not completely. I still have like a few lines of dialogue to finish, and then so I'll do that afterwards. I'll do that next sprint. Let's see. So here's a question from Luna. I'm working on a co-write project with my best friend. I suck at writing romantic scenes. Any advice? So co-writes can be really fun. I'm doing a co-write right now with my sister Kate. And I think Kate is here in the chat. I'm pretty sure. So say hi to Kate. If she's not here, she'll just feel called out. But co-writes can be really fun, especially if you are like really good writing partners with the person that you're working with. Because a lot of times you can bounce ideas off of them and they can help you out a lot. So my first piece of advice would be to seek help from your co-writer, your co-author, because they might be able to help you as well. And like Kate and I all the time, we try to like help each other with our strong points and our weak points. So like we know each other's strengths and weaknesses and help to kind of offset them. But as far as like tips for writing romantic scenes, it really like it's to me, it's like a matter of just writing what you love and writing what you've seen and read that really engages you personally. So like, what are some of your favorite romantic scenes in books and movies? And how can you kind of like analyze what's going on there behind the scenes? Like, what is the secret ingredient here that makes me love this so much? Maybe it's the characters, maybe it's their chemistry, maybe it's just the dynamic of their relationship or where they've been in the past and how they got here to this moment. To me, that's like the best thing that makes romantic scenes like actually really powerful and emotional, is to connect what matters to these characters and where their relationship has taken them. That's really what makes us emotional. Like anything that's happening on the surface is just like what's happening, you know? We have to know why it matters for us to care. Let's see. Any advice or tips on character profiles? I have a whole video on character profiles. Actually, I have several videos, but if you type in on YouTube, Abbie Emmons character profile, you will see my video, and I give out this character profile that I use all the time. It's my favorite, and I think that it's just like the best questionnaire because it's a no-nonsense questionnaire. It basically covers all the important stuff, your character's motivations. There's like a whole segment that's just like sort of like having a therapy session with your character and figuring out what matters to them. And I think you'll like that a lot. So check that out. Let's see. How many words should chapter 1 have? I'm not sure where to stop and I don't want to make it too long. it really doesn't matter. I would say, just like I was talking about on my live training, the last live training I did about writing the first chapter, the technicalities, like what you call it, whether it's a prologue or a first chapter or how long it is or how short it is, all of that doesn't really matter. What matters the most is within the first 5 minutes, capturing your reader's attention with internal conflict. And I know that for myself, when I'm reading and I start reading a book, and the first chapter, if the first chapter is like really long, I honestly don't care. Like, as long as it has pulled me in and made me care about what's happening to the characters, I honestly never even think about chapter length because I just stop wherever I want to stop. So I feel like writers really overthink the chapter length thing. I know I do a lot, but I tend to write super long chapters sometimes and then super short chapters. It really all depends on the style of the book. It depends on what style you're going for. Let's see. From Catherine, how do I find an unbiased way to see what other people think of my book? The best answer for this is beta readers. And I know beta readers can be a scary prospect if you're new to sharing your work with other people, but it is so important to get feedback. And as long as the beta readers that you have chosen are people who would have picked up your book in a bookstore, like your ideal reader, someone who's interested in this type of story, and someone who will be brutally honest with you, and somebody who wants to see you succeed. I actually have several videos on beta readers, how to find them, what to ask them. So check out my channel. You'll find on my channel a video about beta readers. And that I think will help you a lot. Online writing communities are a great place to find beta readers. So here in the Writers Life Wednesday community, or in the Discord, or on my Inner Circle Facebook group as well, is a great place to find critique partners and beta readers. Okay, I'm gonna answer 2 more questions and then we're gonna get into our second writing sprint. Let's see. Any advice on finding a trustworthy but professional editor? Haha. Editors are definitely, it's a tough decision to make, and it requires a lot of like thought and practice, really, like just figuring out what is going to serve my story the best. I've mentioned before that Readsy is a great resource for finding editors because it's kind of like a community where a lot of creative professionals offer their services for writing, publishing, formatting, editing. So definitely check that out, readsy.com, and that's spelled REEDSY.com. And on there, they have like a huge database of professional editors. But the important thing with finding an editor is really figuring out if you're going to work well together and if they understand your voice and your intentions with your story. So a lot of editors offer free edit samples, and I definitely recommend going for that. See if they offer a free sample and then send them like the first 5 pages or 10 pages or whatever they want of your book, and see how that first round of edits goes. Like, do you like their style? Do you think that they connect with your style? Do you think they connect with your voice and your intentions with your story? And feel free to reach out to several editors and just kind of feel things out, see how it is working with each editor. And I think you'll find that that communication really helps you to make the right decision. Okay, one more question. We're going to get to our next sprint. I can't remember if I answered 2 or 1. Okay. Let's see, from Maya. I'm struggling with writer's block and I constantly compare my work with others and it makes me want to delete it. Do you have any advice? Well, first of all, my first piece of advice is don't delete it because it is creative and inspired. And even if you don't feel like it's as good as what you've read or whatever it is you're comparing in your mind, it is your best, and your best is always changing. So this is something that I try to tell myself when I'm comparing too much, is that my writing today is either great or it is making me great. So I don't have any bad writing days. It is all experience. It is all practice. And once you start looking at your writing as practice, you stop judging it so intensely. So music has taught me a lot about this. I love music. I play the piano all the time just for fun. It's one of my favorite hobbies and always has been. And I don't take it too seriously, but I love just playing around and practicing with different pieces that I may never show anyone else, probably never will. And doing that sort of creative practice is certainly not a waste of time. And it is not, there's no like end game, this has to be perfect. It's all about the joy of creating. So try to look at your writing like that. Try to reignite the joy and have fun with it. Like when you have writer's block and you've kind of come to this stuck place where you feel like you can't proceed, that to me is the best time to have fun. Like do something playful and interesting. What is the most self-indulgent, fun thing that you could write? Write that. That has always broken me out of writer's block, like every single time without fail. Also, sometimes you're just like psyching yourself out too much and you need a break. So recognize when you're creatively tired and you just need a rest, you need a day off, maybe you need a week off from writing, and you need to fill your cup in order to pour from your cup, right? So that's also important to keep in mind. Okay, let's get into the next writing sprint because I've talked too much. I'm excited to finish this chapter and then move on to my written edits. So let's get our timers ready. I'm going to pull up the Discord again and start a new sprint. Let's see, sprint 25. I'll give you all 1 minute. 1 minute to get your timers ready and to get on the Discord and join. With, I'm probably going to like finish this chapter and then move on to the next chapter, but whatever. I'll just put the word count in anyway. Because who cares? Okay. Everyone's joining. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and start my timer, and I'll talk to you in 25 minutes. All right, there is our second timer. And I have no idea how many words I wrote during that one because I was mostly editing. So, whatever. We're going to say that it was probably did 200 in total. I didn't look at my total word count before we started, so who knows? Okay. Awesome. Looks like you guys had a good sprint. Wonderful. I just finished editing a chapter. That's great. 400, 600, 450, 717. Awesome. You guys are just crushing it. Great job. Congratulations. Okay, cool. We're going to take a quick break and I'm going to answer some more questions and then we're going to go into writing sprint number 3, our third and final writing sprint. Okay, so let's see. So this chat is loading in. Okay. Question from Moke, I believe is how you say it. Hi, I have a question. Is it a problem if I write what the main character is thinking in every scene? No, it's definitely not a problem. In fact, I would advise that you do that because it's important for us to know what the main character's decision-making process is as they are making decisions, right? I answered a similar question like this in my last episode of Ask Abbie that I did last month about balancing narration with action. Like you don't want to go too deep into narration and thought process if something is happening that you want the reader to see this action unfolding smoothly and the pacing to be on point, right? So you don't want to like hit a pause button on your main story to go into the character's head for too long. But finding a good balance between the two is what I find to be the most engaging when I'm reading. And again, you can do this with books that you love. You can annotate them and see how much does the writer go into the character's head and how much of this is just action happening and how do they balance those two things to create an engaging reading experience. Let's see. How do you come up with book titles? When during your writing process did you find yours? Book titles are so hit or miss. It's like you either, for me, it's like I either get it before I write the book, before I even like have the full idea for the book, or it's like way later after the book is finished. There is no in between. So for like 100 Days of Sunlight, I knew that it was going to be called 100 Days of Sunlight before I wrote it. Like the title came to me almost immediately with the idea. But other books, I have like not known the title until way later. Like even The Best Christmas Ever, I didn't know what I was going to call that until like after I got it back from my editor. Even like I sent it to her without a title. Like I don't know what this is going to be called. So if you have any ideas, feel free to throw them out. That's another thing you could do is ask your beta readers or your editor for ideas on a title and see what they come up with, and then kind of just like brainstorm or just pull a name out of a hat if you can't decide. Let's see. From Emily, any advice on filling in the gaps? Sometimes I feel like the pace isn't flowing properly, chunky almost when I go back and read what I wrote. So it feels like there isn't like a flow of these events. Is that kind of what you're facing here? If so, I would say maybe the style of your book should be different. Maybe you want to break up your story into shorter chapters. That's something that I'm kind of doing right now with my book that I'm working on, is I am using the style of like really short chapters interspersed with other like inserts, like text conversations, and I have like a element that is like sort of a soundtrack that goes with the book. So there's like songs inserted in between chapters sometimes. And I find that like unique formatting in books can sometimes really engage your brain and keep you reading. So maybe play with that. Maybe your book just wants some unique formatting, and those gaps are actually moments where nothing really is happening that matters, and so you want to skip to the next thing. I always advise writers to never write filler, never feel like, oh, I have to put something here just because nothing's happening. Like, just go to the next thing that matters, really. Like, cause and effect. Let's stay with what matters. Let's stay with what's important to the characters right now, and don't insert any filler that is meaningless to the story or subplots. So that's something that you might want to explore. Another thing with pacing is that basically you're trying to make your book read as visually as possible. So by that, I mean, and I made a video about this one time about pacing and description, and how as we are reading, we see everything happening at the pace at which we read. So as scenes unfold, they are kind of coming alive in our imaginations, right? And we're sort of seeing it, each scene unfolding in the time that it unfolds, if that makes sense. So play with that style and play with that fundamental rule of psychology, really, and that your reader is seeing this happen at the pace at which they're reading. And maybe you do want some cuts. Maybe you don't need to have these gaps that are like, maybe you don't need to fill in those gaps, is what I'm trying to say. Maybe that's just the style of how the story flows. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that gives you some food for thought. Okay. How do you get motivation to write when you have writer's block? That's a good question. Usually I take a break, because a lot of times it's just that I'm tired and overworked, and I have not filled my creative cup enough to pour out of my creative cup. So that's like number one. Take a break if I need one. And secondly, I try to just write something that's fun. Like I said earlier, something that's self-indulgent and fun. It's amazing how much that can get you out of a writer's block or a rut. Also, Kate and I have talked about this so much on the podcast and shared both of our experience and tips and advice that help us a lot with writer's block. So check out those episodes of the podcast. Kate and Abbie Show, writer's block. You will find tons of resources there as well. Hopefully that helps. Let's see. From Sabrina, nearing the end of my first draft. Awesome. I'm pacing a little less than my intended final word count. How do you go about finding areas in drafts to fill in any gaps? Okay. So when you feel like you don't have enough words in your book, that's actually something that I'm dealing with this book right now, because I have about like 60,000 words, and I really want it to be like around 75,000 words. So what I'm doing as I go back through it is I'm adding in subplots. So that's my favorite way to add to the word count and to really add to the story without just adding more words, right? Or making things go by more slowly because you're adding more words. I try to look for ways to add new layers of meaning and depth to the characters. So maybe you have a side character who doesn't really get their own story, or doesn't have, or maybe they have some internal conflict that's not yet explored. Maybe think about a way that you could add their story as a subplot. That's what I started to do with this book. Is I chose, like, I don't even know if I can number it, like probably 2 to 3 new characters, because some of them are like connected to each other, like different conflicts and relationships, but probably like 2 to 3 characters that are getting their own subplots they didn't have before in the first draft. So I'm really excited about that because it has given me the opportunity to explore new themes with the story and just make it feel like more like real life. Like everyone has their own story kind of running parallel with all the other characters. And it can also be a great way to bring your protagonist to new understandings and new aha moments. So maybe this subplot and this side character's realization leads your main character to have a realization of their own, or helps them to learn something or overcome something. So all of it can work together and kind of weave together into this beautiful tapestry of unexplored awesomeness. So hopefully that helps. That's just what has been helping me a lot. Okay. Oh, Kate's here? I didn't even see her. Hi, Kate. How do you add subplots to your book without making your characters have their own point of view? Okay, so that's a good question. Subplots can appear in many different ways, and a lot of times I don't have separate points of view for my side characters. They just have their own subplots that are progressing as the main character witnesses them. Okay, so for this book I'm writing, for instance, it just has one point of view, which is so weird because I'm used to dual point of views, at least two, sometimes three, but one point of view, and I'm trying to work with it, but it all works because my character is experiencing these subplots by just witnessing the other characters going through these plots, and also learning about them, learning some of these side characters, like learning about their internal conflict, learning their secrets. They're just conversations, interactions, maybe things they overhear that they're not supposed to overhear, or something that they learn over time about another character. But you certainly don't have to like lay it all out right from the outset. In fact, I would advise against that because you don't want to just like info dump all these characters' internal conflicts right away on the reader. You want your main character to slowly be exploring them and witness to the side characters as they go through their own journeys on the side. And a lot of times the main character's story will kind of interweave and connect with the side characters because of what's happening to them matters to the main character. So I've made several videos on subplots and side characters, and I would recommend checking those out. They're on my channel. And I also made a live training about subplots. And I know I say live training, but you can watch the replay. It exists forever, along with the archive of all my other live trainings that are available on my Patreon. So check that out if you haven't seen that already. I think that will help you a lot. And I give a lot of examples in the live trainings, like tons of story examples, and kind of show how to reveal subplots throughout the course of your story without necessarily switching to the point of view of that character. And some great examples that I use on my YouTube videos is the side characters of Emma and also Pride and Prejudice. No surprise there. Okay, so let's get into our third and final writing sprint. I want to get back into my manuscript. And I think you all are probably tired of hearing me talk. Oh, I never even sent my word count. I typed it, but I didn't send it. Okay, whatever. We're going to start our third sprint, sprint 25, in 1 minute. Get your timers ready. Get your works in progress back up. Hopefully you didn't get distracted. Okay. I don't even know what I'm doing, so I'm just going to say join. I'm not even doing word count anymore, as you probably have noticed, because I'm like hardcore editing now. Okay. All right, 25 minutes, let's go. Okay. Third timer. And it's just in time too because I just got a notification that my mouse battery is about to die. That would be awkward. I wouldn't even be able to end this live stream. You would just have to be with me all night. Okay, Yeah, if you heard noises during that one, it's because I kept letting the dog in and out of this room, and he just causes so many distractions. But whatever. If you guys saw me cuddling him, then you saw it. Some people did. Otherwise, if you were focused on your writing and you missed it, he came, he left. It's all good. Okay. Hopefully that third and final session went well for you guys. I don't even know like if I wrote anything because I kind of just like started doing edits and making tons of notes because I kind of ran into like an issue where I need to research some things because I'm changing some elements of this story to take place in a different location, and that just creates a lot of changes all around. So I don't even know how many words I wrote. Probably like, we'll be generous and say 50. Because I probably added some, but not many. Nothing to get excited about. But looks like you guys wrote a ton of words. Awesome. Fabulous. You wrote so much during these sessions, and you should be super proud of yourself for showing up today and for joining me on this live stream. Even if you didn't get to write as much as you thought that you were going to, the important thing is that you hold yourself accountable. And that's what this whole writing retreat is about. It's not about achieving a certain number. It's not about hitting a certain word count goal. That's why I encourage every writer to come up with their own goals that suit your writing life the best, okay? Because everyone is different. Every writing journey is different. So choose the goal that matters the most to you and just work towards that as we continue this writing retreat. So thank you guys so much for joining me today, and thank you for all of the chats, all of the questions. I hope that my answers have been helpful to you and given you some value. Thank you also to everyone who donated to the fundraiser on this live stream. There's still time to donate to the fundraiser. I believe it still stays up even after this live ends because the replay will be available for anybody who couldn't stay for the live or missed it or was busy or sleeping. And because of that, we're going to do different times each time going forward. So I don't know about the next one. We'll see what time the next one ends up being, but the next one is going to be on Wednesday. So this coming Wednesday, we will meet again and we will have another group writing session together. And it's going to be great. So thank you guys again for showing up today. Thank you for joining me for this writing session. I had so much fun writing with you, and I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, keep in touch on the Discord if you're in the Discord. If not, you can get inside there by joining my Patreon at any level. Link is in the description. I will see you guys in there, and I will see you on Wednesday. Okay? Until then, rock on. Shh.